Hey up guys, I'm Mason, the blind wrestling fan, and you're listening to Wrestling in the Dark. Merry Christmas, wrestling fans! Now that everybody's opened their presents and stuffed their faces with as much food as they possibly can, it's time to take a look at my top 5 favourite WWE matches of 2020. If you've listened to this podcast for any amount of time, you're not going to be surprised to find out that NXT pretty much dominates this list, but I wasn't going to lie to you and come up with some random main roster matches just to make sure that wasn't the case. I enjoy NXT the most, so shoot me! Buckle up, have fun, and let's get to it. At number 5, it's a match that feels like it took place a million years ago, before Matt Riddle was abducted by aliens, lobotomised, stripped of his first name, and then sent back to Earth as a spy for the Galactic Federation. It's the first ever NXT pit fight between Timothy Thatcher and Matt Riddle. This was a down and dirty scrap in a cage with scaffolding, no turnbuckles, no ropes, no pinfalls. You get knocked out or you tap out. Timothy Thatcher lost 2 of his teeth, he took a big bump off a raised platform when Riddle hit him with a ripcord knee strike and followed up with a floating bro. There were strikes and submissions all over the place, these two just showing off their technical ability. In the end, Riddle got locked in a rear naked choke and lost by technical knockout. It was a really exciting match, and it was the first match that I thought of when I started putting this list together. It was different, it was gritty, and I just enjoyed the hell out of it. If you get some spare time and you haven't seen this match, you definitely need to go back and check it out. At number 4, it's Keith Lee versus Dominik Dijakovic, taking place all the way back in February at TakeOver Portland in front of a live crowd before everything went tits up and we entered the empty arena era. This was an incredibly fun match that saw these two doing what they do best, being big, massive, meaty monsters that somehow move like cruiserweights. There was dives, strikes, and big spots everywhere in this match. We got an avalanche Spanish fly, a feast your eyes from the top rope, Keith Lee hitting a grizzly magnum boot that sounded like a chair shot, Dominik Dijakovic disrespectfully stepping over Keith Lee, getting booed by the crowd, and then instantly turning them around by hitting a corkscrew moonsault. Keith Lee won in the end with the Big Bang Catastrophe, and this would begin his rise to the main event. Honestly, as amazing as this match was, it also kind of makes me sad, because you look back at this and it was an absolutely amazing match. It showed how great both of these are, and then you fast forward to the end of the year and Dijakovic is in Retribution and Keith Lee is losing to Miz and Morrison and getting bro kicked by Sheamus. It's just not where I thought that these two would be at the end of the year. This was a great match, and once again, if you get some time, you should definitely go back and check it out. At number 3, it's Team Candice versus Team Shotzi, taking place just a few short weeks ago at TakeOver War Games. This was an absolutely insane, wildly creative match that demonstrated just how amazing the NXT women's roster is right now. Candice LeRae, Dakota Kai, Raquel Gonzalez, Toni Storm, Shotzi Blackheart, Rhea Ripley, Io Shirai, and Ember Moon. All of these women are legitimately good enough to be the face of NXT, and this was a brilliant match with massive spots everywhere. Io Shirai leaping off the top of the cage inside a trash can, later on getting double stomped whilst inside it. Dakota Kai getting hit with an eclipse by Ember Moon, who used chairs to make it even nastier. Candice LeRae locking in a Gargano escape using a wrench. Raquel Gonzalez using a single arm to powerbomb the NXT Women's Champion. There was so much to love about this, and to be honest, I don't need to say any more than that. At number 2, it's the Universal Championship TLC match between Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns, taking place at the TLC pay-per-view. There is nothing not to like about this match. After taking months off Roman Reigns came back with a fresh coat of paint, a new heel character, and quickly became the best thing about WWE's main roster product. Everything that he's touched over the last few months has turned to gold. He's transformed Jey Uso into a megastar, and Kevin Owens has been more interesting over the last few weeks than he's been in years. This match was just as much about the story as it was the in-ring action. Owens getting put through what felt like a million tables, getting slammed on ladders, getting hit with everything that Roman had to give, whilst also contending with the interference from Jey Uso, but refusing to stay down, refusing to quit, and pushing the Universal Champion to the point where he needed to cheat to win was absolutely brilliant and just left me wanting more. Classic. At number 1, my favourite match of this year was the NXT Championship match between Finn Balor and Kyle O'Reilly that main evented TakeOver 31. For me, this put O'Reilly on the map. It demonstrated that he's not just a tag team specialist, he has what it takes to be a singles star, to be the NXT champion. He takes so much punishment as Finn Balor focuses in on his midsection, landing strikes the likes of which Wade Barrett says he's seen heavyweight boxers go down to. Bleeding from the mouth, O'Reilly refuses to stay down and keeps coming back for more. He even kicks out of a 1916. There are more strikes and submissions in this match than there are fish in the sea. O'Reilly would even hit a knee strike so devastating that it would break Finn Balor's jaw. If you love a good gritty, technical strike fest of a match, you can't ask for any better than this. It turned O'Reilly into the heart and soul of the Undisputed Era, and I've even gone on to call him the Daniel Bryan of NXT. Every now and again a match comes along that is so good that I don't even care that I can't see the in-ring action, and this was one of them. Well, those were my top 5 favourite WWE matches of 2020. But if you want to let me know what your favourite matches were, then you've got options. You can drop them in the comments section, find, follow and get in touch on Twitter at Mason_WITD, or email wrestlinginthedark@gmail.com. For now, I'm off, and you should have a good one.